Hello guys, what's up? Aqui é a professora Nathalia Nascimento e hoje na nossa videoaula nós vamos ver a história da Alicia. In this story, Alicia won a prize and this prize was a trip around the world. We're gonna see what Alicia saw in this trip. Para isso, vocês vão acompanhar com a apostila de vocês e também com o vídeo. Depois vocês vão responder algumas perguntas na apostila. Let's start.
The world awaits. When I entered the writing contest, I never thought I would win. I had to write about world travel, but I had never been outside my home state. Still, I did my best to imagine what a trip around the world would be like. I closed my eyes and pictured faraway places. I thought about meeting people from different cultures, seeing beautiful lands, and discovering interesting wildlife. I wrote the best essay I could and sent in my entry. A month later, I received a letter about the contest. Incredibly, I won! The letter said the grand prize was a trip around the world. I couldn't believe it. My parents and I packed our suitcases right away. We were going on the best vacation ever. The first stop on our journey was South America. We went to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. What a wonderful city! We walked along gorgeous beaches lined with palm trees. We rode in cable cars to the top of Sugarloaf Mountain and enjoyed an incredible view of the city. I wanted to take a ride down the Amazon River, the world's second longest river. I was hoping to see the unusual plants and animals that lived in the tropical rainforest, but we did not have time. Instead, we went to see a game of futebol, which is the Portuguese word for soccer. Futebol is the country's national sport. Fans at the game were very excited. The only problem was that none of us could understand what they were shouting. We could not speak Portuguese. However, we were lucky enough to find some people who spoke English to help us. From Brazil, we flew to Africa. We landed in Yaoundé, Cameroon. We walked by people making marvelous works of art. One man was creating a batik. He used hot wax to stamp symbols on white fabric. Then he added colorful dyes to the fabric. Next to him, a woman was carving a mask out of wood. She decorated it with paint and shells. I wanted to buy so many souvenirs to take home. Our next stop in Africa was Morocco. We drove to the Sahara Desert where we met people called Berbers. They showed me some of their ancient traditions and dances. During our stay, I had to drink plenty of water. It was very hot and humid. The temperature was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Some people gave us thin cloths to cover ourselves. These cloths made us feel much cooler. 2 days later, we traveled to Spain. It is located on the continent of Europe. We went to the city of Seville for the Feria de Sevilla, or the Seville Spring Fair. It is the biggest spring fair held in Andalusia. In the afternoon, we went to see the parade of decorated carriages and horses. The horse riders and people were dressed in their Andalusian costumes. That night, we watched flamenco dancers in beautiful dresses with lots of colors. They stomped their feet and clapped their hands to the music. I could not help but clap too. The following morning, we took the express train to Paris, France. Boy, was that train fast! Once in Paris, we got to the Louvre in no time. The Louvre is a large museum that was once a king's palace. We saw hundreds of famous paintings. Then, we visited the famous Eiffel Tower. We also walked along the Seine River and watched boats go by. I tried some new foods too. My favorite thing to eat in France was a crepe. It is like a pancake that is filled with cheese or jam. It was really tasty. Soon it was time for our next adventure. But I was so tired. I had to take a nap on the plane. When I woke up, we were landing in Asia. First, we went to Agra, India to see the Taj Mahal. It is a large monument made out of white marble. There are gardens all around the building. My parents told me that a king built the Taj Mahal in honor of his wife who had died. What a shame that the king's wife was not alive to see such a beautiful building. The next country we visited was China. I saw part of the Great Wall of China. It is so long that astronauts have seen it from space. A few days later, we flew to Tokyo, Japan. We went to the Tokyo Fish Market to buy food for dinner. Later, we went to the top of the Tokyo Tower. From the observatory, we could see Mount Fuji, Japan's highest mountain. It was an amazing sight. After a good night's sleep, we took off for Australia. The first thing we did was to go to Sydney and take a tour of the Opera House. The roof looks like it was made with giant seashells. That afternoon, we decided to ride through the outback. It reminded me of a desert with all the thick sand on the ground. We visited national parks and saw many different plants and animals. The kangaroos were the funniest. I loved watching them hop around. But to me, the koalas were the cutest. Finally, it was time to return to our home in North America. We didn't visit the continent of Antarctica, but that is okay. It is much too cold there. The flight home seemed to last forever. I did my best to sleep on the plane, but it was no use. I could not stop thinking about our trip. I had seen and learned so much. I had met many interesting people. I had learned some new words in different languages and discovered delicious foods. I could not wait to show my friends all of the pictures I had taken.
Agora, ouçam a história novamente. Voltem o vídeo. Só que dessa vez, eu gostaria que vocês anotassem em cada parte, em cada página, sem ver a versão em português, do que essa parte está falando. Anotem o máximo de coisas que vocês conseguirem entender. Depois, no final, vocês vão lá na plataforma de vocês, nos recursos da biblioteca, lá tem a tradução. E aí vocês comparem, vejam aquilo que estava faltando que vocês não tinham incluído na descrição de vocês. Depois vocês vão lá para a apostila e façam os exercícios. Vejo vocês na próxima aula. Bye, bye!